All right, welcome back. Let's settle in as we join King Shahryar and, of course, the brilliant Scheherazade for the tale of the 16th Night.
Okay, so where did we leave off? Right, the three one-eyed dervishes had just wrapped up their absolutely wild stories. But then, the lady of the house flips the script and demands to know who exactly has been sitting in her home all night. You could just imagine the tension, right? I mean, who were these guys? And that's when the caliph's vizier, Jafar, steps up and drops the bombshell. They're in the presence of the commander of the faithful himself, Caliph Harun al-Rashid. So, with everyone's identity out in the open, the caliph says, "Okay, I pardon you for all the weirdness, like beating those two dogs. But there's a catch. Now it's their turn to talk. He demands the whole, unvarnished truth about what is going on in this house." And that's when the eldest woman, Zubaydah, steps forward. She promises the caliph a story so incredible that, and I'm quoting here, if written with needles on the corner of an eye, it would be a lesson for all who read it. I mean, with an intro like that, how can you not listen? Let's get into it. So Zubaydah starts her tale, and right away we learn that those two dogs, they aren't dogs at all. They're her sisters. Same father, different mothers. And like so many family dramas, this one kicks off with money. Specifically, an inheritance. When their father passed, he left them a pretty decent amount of cash. Her two older sisters, they immediately got married. And in a move that screams bad idea, they each handed their new husband 1,000 dinars for a business venture. You can probably guess what happened next. The guys took the money, went traveling, blew through every single dinar over 4 years, and then just ditched their wives, leaving them with absolutely nothing. So her sisters come crawling back to her as beggars, completely broken. Zubaydah, being the good sister, takes them in, gives them clothes, food, everything. She shares her own fortune with them. But you know, some people just never learn. A year later, against all of Zubaydah's advice, they insist on getting married again. And would you believe it? It's a total repeat. The new husbands cheat them, take their money, and disappear. Again. This time when they come back, they are truly humbled. They finally admit it. You're the youngest, but you have way more sense than we do. They promise, they swear, they will never, ever mention marriage again. Okay, so for a whole year, things are peaceful, and Zubaydah, who's a pretty sharp businesswoman herself, decides it's time for a big move. She puts together a massive merchant ship for a trading voyage to Basra. Naturally, her sisters can't bear to be left behind, so they beg and plead to go with her. Zubaydah says yes, but, and this is classic Zubaydah, she wisely keeps half her fortune safe on land. You know, just in case. Smart move. And so, the three of them set off on their grand voyage. But this is where things get weird. The journey goes completely off course. The captain gets lost, like hopelessly lost. For 10 straight days, a mysterious wind just pushes them into a sea that's not on any map. And then, out of nowhere, a city appears on the horizon. The captain heads ashore to check it out. When he comes back, he's white as a sheet, just completely shaken. He's telling everyone, you have to come see this. Come see God's strange work, and pray we're not next. And what they find is just chilling. A whole city, completely silent. The markets are full of people, merchants, shoppers, all frozen mid-action. Everything, every person, every piece of fruit turned to black stone. It's like a whole city was flash frozen in a single terrible moment. Zubaydah, probably feeling a mix of terror and fascination, heads for the palace. And inside, it's pure opulence. Everything is made of solid gold and silver. But what good is all that wealth when it's just part of a giant silent tomb? She finds the king, right there on his throne, dressed in this incredible gold brocade, jewels glittering on his crown. He's surrounded by 50 guards, swords drawn, forever ready to defend him, and every single one of them black stone. Next, she goes into the harem, and there's the queen, draped in pearls and jewels, an absolute vision of wealth. And just like everyone else, she's a statue, lifeless. You can imagine how overwhelming this all is. Zubaydah just wanders through this silent, magnificent, terrifying palace. And before she knows it, the sun has set, and she realizes she's all alone and totally lost in the city of the dead. She tries to get some sleep, but how could you? The silence is just deafening. And then, at the stroke of midnight, a sound cuts through it all. A sound that has no business being in a place like this.
What was it? The sound of someone reciting the Quran? She follows this beautiful voice to this little prayer room, and inside, she finds a young man, alive, the only living soul in a city of stone.
So, he tells her what happened. The people of the city were fire worshippers. For 3 years in a row, a booming voice from the heavens warned them, turn from the fire and worship the one true God. And for 3 years, they just ignored it. After the third and final warning, well, that's when Judgment Day came. Everyone was turned to stone. Everyone but him.
So why was he spared? Well, it turns out he was the prince, and an old, devout Muslim servant had secretly raised him, teaching him all about Islam and the Quran. He had to keep his real faith hidden from his own father, the king, and when the punishment came down, that secret faith saved his life.
Hearing his story, Zubaydah is just floored. This tale of faith, his loneliness, she feels a connection to him, and she decides to make him an incredible offer.
She says, come with me to Baghdad. Get out of this city of ghosts. You can study with the great scholars there. And then she says something amazing. This wealthy, powerful merchant woman offers to become his servant if he'll just say yes. The prince, his heart just soaring with hope, agrees. Their new life is about to begin. But just then, the sun starts to rise. And just like that, Sherazade stops talking. She cuts the story short, leaving the king and all of us hanging. We'll just have to wait to see what happens next.